All right, so I'm gonna go in here, knock, and then be ready to go.
Okay. Yes, can I help you?
Mike? Yes, this is Casey with ADP. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Good. Can I have a seat?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Awesome. I spoke to Rebecca, and she said you had a little bit of time to talk today about ADP.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was referred to you by Roger Hayes, and he said that you guys were in the business of looking for maybe some payroll solutions, perhaps, of any kind.
Well, we've had some issues.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Well, basically the meeting for today is I would just like to talk to you a little bit more about the dealership and where you're looking to go with it, and then kind of show you what we have to offer in terms of payroll and human resource compliance. So about how much time do we have for today to kind of cover that?
I only have about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. And also in addition to that, I'd like to kind of demo the product here if you don't mind at all. So with that, we'll begin. So where do you see yourself with the dealership here in the next few years? Because you guys have been, from what I know, you guys have been doing incredibly well.
Yeah, well, I owned a couple other dealerships up around Dallas. Just want to be able to get back. This is where I grew up. And, you know, I might want to open up another place eventually. But
Eventually.
right now, I'm just kind of building this up and enjoying the life around the homestead.
Yep, I understand that. So, tell me a little bit more about, you're wanting to open up another branch here in the near future. With the current one that you have, how is the payroll process taken care of, or how is that accomplished at your branch?
Well, I got this accountant, and he was doing the payroll for a while, but then he kind of gave up. And, just kind of not sure what the problem was, but Rebecca, I wanted Rebecca to do it for a while, but she's been doing it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Is the accountant still employed, or have you just kind of let him go?
Well, I got him on retainer. I keep him for mainly taxes at the moment.
Retainer. Okay.
You know,
So he's just kind of there if you need his help, but he doesn't.
well, I need his help at tax time, but
Yeah.
the payroll, the day-to-day payroll, no. He's more tax guy and investment guy for the business. Right
Okay,
now.
for capital investing and such.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rebecca then handles the payroll, correct?
No,
She's
she's my go-to person right now. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't think she really enjoys it, but
Oh, really?
she is. She's what I got right now.
Yeah, I understand that. Does she do anything else in addition to payroll, or is it just
Oh.
payroll only?
Well, she's kind of my right arm on the business. I mean,
Okay.
I can't do without her.
Yeah, kind of like your partner in the business or in the branch there.
Well, she's pretty important.
Very important. All right. And then what's the process that you guys use to do payroll? Is it manual? Do you have some kind of timesheets? Or?
Oh, I think the accountant was doing it manual, and I think Rebecca said that she could probably do it with QuickBooks or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't really know, because I've always been out on the front lines and
Yeah.
you know,
And-
building the business from the outside, not from the inside.
Okay. Gotcha. So is she taking over that that part of the accountant's job in terms of running the payroll then completely right now?
Well, right now, yeah, I think
Okay.
she might have somebody in her family that knows a little bit about, you know, doing some of the payroll from the legal filings and stuff like that. She may
Okay.
have a friend or a family member that's, you know, kind of helping with that. But
Gotcha.
she said she could do it at least in the short term. So
Yeah. And with that
I think
system,
she's doing fairly good. But
yeah.
you know,
With that system, is there anything that that's been a concern for you or a deciding factor on whether to go with a ADP company like ourselves versus QuickBooks?
Yeah, it's more just, the size of, do I have enough business to warrant, kind of investment it might take. And honestly, I haven't looked at what the numbers would be for outsourcing. Or,
So price would be a deciding factor for you on that?
yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
But as I get bigger, I understand that's going to be more important to have that nailed down as I expand out again.
Yeah, no doubt there.
Yeah, I had a really good accountant in Dallas, and
Mm-hmm.
he handled all that, and he was great. But when I moved away, it was just too difficult for him to keep up with this business so far away from where he was. So.
The time to travel is probably too far.
Yeah, just time, and even if you could do it remote, it's just too many details that you got to know on site.
Okay. So tell me a little about a time where you needed access to your payroll kind of on demand. About how would you go about doing that?
Well, I can't really tell you that much. I'm really not that familiar with the.
Has Rebecca ever said or needed access kind of on the go where she's not in her office but kind of out around the dealership where she's needed to kind of pull up a payroll report to verify?
Maybe when a salesman came in and was asking about a commission or something like that. That probably happens maybe once twice a month. I don't really know. I mean, we try to let everyone know what the rates are and what the margins are so that they can kind of figure that out themselves. But if they have a question,
then
she's got to go
in the back,
look it up and see where we're at.
Gotcha. So if we were to come with a service, kind of a mobile payroll system where she could access it from her phone, would she find value in that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure she'd find value in that.
Okay. All right. And about how much time does she spend, if you don't mind me asking, working on the payroll itself? Even with the QuickBooks, putting that in and computing all that?
Oh, I'd say at least 40% of her time, but
And how much does she, or how many hours would you say on a conservative side does she work a week?
Well, probably 40 to 50. I mean, she is my right-hand person and
So anywhere
keeping
between
the business going.
So as I understand it correctly, anywhere between 4 to 5 hours is spent on payroll then, roughly,
day, yeah.
over the course of the week or payroll period.
It'd be more like 15 hours a week,
15
probably.
hours a week. All right. And most of that time is coming from manually calculating the payroll, correct? Or is it just
Well,
the
it's
whole
that,
process?
and I think it's the whole process.
Whole process.
Making sure, we're wanting to do a retirement, contribution kind of thing. She's looking into setting that up. And, just a bunch of research and paperwork and
just
filings.
putting together the packages, essentially?
Yep.
Okay. So if we were to be able to also, in addition to that mobility piece, bring a product that would just automate the calculations, so Rebecca wouldn't have to use the QuickBooks, wouldn't have to collect all the information together, would that be something that she would find value in as well, just to free up her 4 to 5 or as much as 15 hours a week? Would she find some value with that?
Yeah, I'm sure she'd find value. I would love her to be able to do some of the other things that I've got planned.
And what are some of those other things that you're looking to have her take on? Does she do any advertising right now, or just help with the salespeople mainly?
Well, since she's kind of stuck in the office, she really can't do much. I've kind of hired her to be kind of the front desk liaison to customers, be a happy face when they first come in, and she can, she grew up in this area too, and she knows everybody in town, and everybody I knew was back in high school, and she knows people that even I don't know, and
Yep. So
it's a good friendly face to start with.
providing that customer relations point essentially.
Mhm.
So the more she's out there face to face with customers, the better off that is in terms of PR, like customer relations perspective, correct?
Yeah,
And the
I'd
less
say so.
time,
Yeah.
and the less time she spends on payroll, the better
Oh,
off.
I'd like her to be out. I mean, we got some events, you know, like a parking lot,
Okay.
tent sales and stuff, and she's really good at organizing those and getting flyers out and getting
Mhm.
people she knows to come in, and
Okay.
you know, just in general getting the word out. Where,
Yep.
you know, I got to get the inventory in.
Yep. Understood. Understood, Mike. So let me just tell you a little bit more about ADP as we move on. Um, do you know a lot about ADP? Do you know what they are, what they specialize in?
Not really.
So
You'll have to
yeah,
inform me.
yeah. So ADP, what we do is, and how I view myself actually, is a small business specialist. And ADP works with roughly 200,000 small businesses that are about your size. And what we do is we help match their vision for the future and give them real tools to make that a reality, their dreams a reality. So we were talking about Rebecca being out in the office more, and we're talking about her being able to take a part of those tent sales by having a system that she could spend less time working on the paperwork and more time out in front of your customers. That's what we want to do, and that's where we want to help you really just excel her and excel your business in that way. Does that sound like a...
I'm open to hearing what you have to offer.
Okay, so with ADP, since we work with small businesses a lot, we have our payroll system, our standard payroll system that I'm going to bring up here right now. And what this is it's an example that we run with all of our clients just to kind of familiarize themselves with what this is going to look like once it's up and running. So let me just log in here, if I get my password right. There we go. And I've already logged in, and we are at the main screen to begin processing payroll. So at first glance, kind of how does this strike you in terms of simplicity and conciseness?
Okay, so these numbers are in hours.
Yeah, these are
Yeah,
hours,
seems pretty
overtime.
straightforward. I don't see a.
Vacation.
This is just a time
Yeah,
card. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the time card here, and then you go ahead. Let me see. Go ahead and get the mouse over and click next for me, if you would, please. All right. So here's the payroll from employees, their department, the rate, regular hours, and then salaries if they're salaried. And we can do overtime hours, vacation pay, and it kind of brings it up in a nice way that you can kind of at a quick shot see how everybody's being paid, compensated, what hours they worked, the rate they worked.
The biggest concern I have is, you know, calculating the commission sales.
On the employees.
Yeah.
So that's a concern for you, correct?
Yeah, we got to get that right.
Yeah.
We don't want, you know, irate employees, and we'll keep everybody happy.
For sure. So go ahead and click next here, and we should be able to start to make our way to preview the payroll. Okay, so there we see preview payroll. Go ahead and click that. Okay, so right now it's calculating an estimate of what you're going to need when payroll period comes around. So as we see here, and this did all the calculations in that one click. So I forgot to mention this, but this process takes between 3 to 5 clicks to complete because it's all automated and streamed and based off of the cloud. So this number right here represents the amount that you'll need in your bank account to make payroll for that pay period. And there's the date that the checks will go out to the employees. Now, a really good thing here is you can have ADP send a physical copy to your employees and or an electronic deposit to go into their bank accounts. So that way Rebecca also doesn't have to do anything with the cutting the checks and handing them out to everyone. So that would be another way.
That would be nice to get rid of that.
Yeah. So that's just another way we can streamline that process. So one more click and we'll have this submitted. So I believe you'll have to scroll down a little, and the button should be onto your right hand side. And there's the approve, and you can just click that. And just like that, your payroll for the period has been processed. So how does that sound in terms of just the
Okay, so-
simplicity and everything?
Now, when you say process, does that mean it's already gone in, that's scheduled to leave my account on that
Yeah.
date? Okay, so it
Yeah.
hasn't actually gone
No, not yet. It'll be scheduled to go out and to do all the
yet? Okay.
distributions essentially on that date.
Well, that seems simple enough.
Does that address your concern at all?
It addresses the amount of time it takes Rebecca to do stuff, if it's
Yeah.
really that simple.
Let me just set this down here. So the next process or next step that typically happens is we set up a scheduling time to, or we schedule a time to come in and do a training session. And what that would mean is we would set up the software on your system so that way you can have access to this and start.
Would that be like on a trial basis?
We can do that. We can go that route with the trial basis, or we can just do the full implementation of the program. It's really however comfortable you are with that.
I think I'd like a trial.
The
first.
trial version?
Yeah. 'Cause
So,
Rebecca's the one that really needs to get in there and
See
look
this.
at it and
okay.
see if it really is going to help her. But it
Okay.
looks simple enough. But I'd really like her to be able to try it.
Okay. So, tell me this, Mike. What time is she available and you're available that we could come and set up a training session for the two of you so that way she'll be able to work with it and you can kind of have an idea of how the
Well-
software works.
It'd have to be after this next payroll because she's going to be busy doing
Yeah.
the payroll. So
Understood.
I'd say probably the first of the, well,
1st of October, maybe?
1st of October, yeah.
Okay. So,
Anytime after, basically payroll. which is
so Monday,
end
I
of the
think
month.
the 1st is a Saturday, so October 3rd, I think, is going to be a Monday. So would October 3rd, does that work with your and Rebecca's schedule?
Better make it Tuesday.
Tuesday the 4th. October 4th. All right. And what I'll do then is I'll send a follow-up email to you and Rebecca, just letting you know that you seem to be on board with this, and we'll kind of get some paperwork lined up, and I'll email you that so you can sign that paperwork so that we can move forward with the training session. And you did mention price was a issue of concern, so I just want to let you know ahead of time that for the training, and this is the implementation, it's a flat cost of $150. And then the amount of employees you said you had around 40 at the time, correct?
Mhm.
And per pay period, it would cost about $58.95 every time you run that payroll. But what you can do, that's really at your convenience, really, is set that to either 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, or month, or however you feel you would like to have your payroll set to go out. So it's really up to you, Rebecca, and any other decision makers that are interested in knowing.
Okay.
So how does that price sound for the opportunity to get Rebecca out there and being able to put on more of those tent sales for you?
So this is per payroll period?
Yes. And then also that column that'll be on your right hand side, that includes a human resource piece that I didn't talk about today because I didn't feel that that was something you needed today. But this is something that you could look at in the future, because that would include like employee handbooks, staying compliant with regulations there. So that's just another piece that some value that we can bring to the table here in the future.
Let's start with the payroll first, and if we like that, then we can talk about the other.
All right, sounds good. You know what? Let me just. I've got a copy here of the contract to do the training, so if you can just kind of then sign here then, and we can kind of just move forward with that, so that way I don't necessarily have to email you all the paperwork then.
All right.
And that way it'll save you time and save Rebecca some time too.
Okay, do I get to keep this?
Yeah,
for
you can keep both of those for your convenience and
Okay.
pass those along to Rebecca if she'd like to take a look at them as well. And just to verify, I've got you guys down for October 4th, that Tuesday, at what time would you say? Mornings or afternoons is better?
Let's try about 10 a.m. in the morning.
10 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah.
All right, Mike, that sounds good. I definitely
All right.
appreciate your time,
Thank you.
and we'll stay in touch here.
Yeah.
Okay. And what the time on that?
I don't know.
Oh, sweet.